The revolutionary new Miss Bardo had experienced gearbox overheating at Tampa and withdrew from that race. Ron Musson's first serious test of the cab-over would come in the President's Cup. Musson observed that he was getting used to driving up front of the engine, but certain things would happen that he didn't react to nearly as well as he could from the rear driver's position. Rex Manchester had performed well in Tampa, placing second to Bill Muncey in Miss U.S. Manchester looked forward to a winning season in 1966. His Notre Dame was well prepared and regarded as the best boat on the tour as the season opened. On the second day of the President's Cup, June 19, 1966, in Heat 2B, Notre Dame and Miss Bardo hooked up in a duel that saw the lead change hands several times. Midway through the heat on the front straightaway, the Bardo appeared to hop a couple of times, then plunged into the waves, erupting in a blast of spray. Witnesses saw the rear portion of the Bardo, engine and all, tumbling several times over the water before coming to rest downrange from the crash scene. The hull had broken apart. Its front half disappeared beneath the surface, carrying Ron Musson to an instant death. Ole Bardo did not like to talk about the crash that took his driver's life, but in a rare interview, Bardo reflected on that terrible episode.
Well, there was a lot of pressure put on there from Ronnie Musson and all these drivers thought that would be the future for the boat and cab over. I never was told on the cab over myself. Well, in the first place, I like to see the driver sitting in the back instead of sitting in the front there. I think he got more control of himself by being in the back. Well, what happened, if you've been back in Washington, the lake there, well, the boat went down, there wasn't over 10 feet of water. He got down there and he got stuck in the mud. But at the same time, they didn't have much of a patrol there. You know, when you got the patrol boat out there and Hydroplane out above, but it was not, we didn't have that. It was kind of bomb setup so far as, and I never did like the setup in Washington, D.C. because that river there is full of debris, deadheads and all kinds of floating around in that thing.
After what seemed an eternity, filled with peaked emotions, anxiety, and sorrow, the President's Cup continued. Shortly after the announcement confirming that Ron Musson had died of his injuries, boats were lowered into the water for the final heat. Grief-stricken drivers prepared to run the final, believing that's how Ronnie Musson would have wanted it. Bill Starrett and Miss Chrysler crew led the field into the first turn, but was quickly passed by Miss Budweiser on the inside and Notre Dame on the outside. Down the backstretch, two boats charged, with Notre Dame leading by 3 boat lengths at the midpoint. As the boats approached the deceleration buoy, entering turn 2, Notre Dame appeared to leap from the water. Landing on her right sponson, the Dame skidded to the left, her underside exposed, veering into the path of the hard-charging Miss Budweiser. The collision was incredible. The Budweiser pierced the Notre Dame hull as spray enveloped the wreck. Rex Manchester and Don Wilson were killed instantly. Further competition for the President's Cup was canceled. On the basis of accumulated points, Rex Manchester, posthumously, was declared the winner. It was his only career victory.